Yes Have Some podcast is brought to you by Carnivorous Creations, your one-stop shop for all of your Proton Pack building needs. If you're in the market for a Proton Pack, head to carnivorouscreations.com. That's carnivorous with a K. You're going to find aluminum motherboards, resin parts, fiberglass shells, and a whole lot more. Find them on Facebook at Carnivorous Creations or head straight to carnivorouscreations.com, remember carnivorous with a K, and get started on an authentic, screen-accurate Proton Pack.
Do you want some coffee, Mr. Tully?
Do I?
Yes, have some.
Yes, have some.
We got one!
It's time for another episode of Yes Have Some podcast.
Look at, I'm in really bad shape. Come on, please, please.
Your weekly pop culture therapy session.
Give me. I need.
Subscribe on iTunes by searching for Yes Have Some in the iTunes store or find us on Facebook at facebook.com/YesHaveSomeCast.
Sick vandalism. That is a deliberate mutilation of a public service message.
And now, hold on to your butts and get ready to get stressed with your hosts, Craig Goldberg, Abigail Gardner, and Jacob Walsh.
We're mutants. There's something wrong with us. Something very, very wrong with us.
Station is so cute.
How did they, like, when they're writing the script, who's like, hey, who's going to help Bill and Ted? And they're like, how about Station?
Yeah, what do you think?
what?
Station. Like two primordial looking, like,
Crystal
Yeah.
Not Crystal Skull. You know, the Legend of the Dark Crystal Skull.
yeah.
My favorite part about
Jim Henson.
the whole
Yeah.
the whole Station thing is that Station don't show up until the last third of the movie.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But because the movie starts in the future and all this has already happened, saying Station is already like the cool thing to say. So the first half of the movie, you get people going
Yeah.
Station. And
Yes.
you're like, why are they saying Station? It makes no sense to you until you get to the end of the movie when Station shows up.
Dude,
it's
I need to
amazing.
rewatch it now because
It's amazing.
yeah, I didn't pick up on that when I was watching it for the first time last night. Bogus
No, go ahead.
Journey.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, just for those of you listening, we're talking about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So.
They couldn't figure that part out.
If
Like,
you
what are they
didn't
talking
know
about?
who Station was, if you're like me,
From the first time the two evil robot us's show up at the very beginning, they say they're like Station. And I'm
Yeah.
So, yeah, and then when the dude from when it's like when Rufus shows up at the school and he's got his historical figures and he's got Bach and I don't remember who else, but one of them's the dude from Faith No More and he's like
Yeah.
Station. It's so awesome.
yes,
Yep.
Also,
I love their clothes,
if any
and I want to go to that university.
scientists or engineers are listening to our show, we would like evil robot us's.
Yeah,
Please. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be good. Or,
Wait a minute.
Or like the good robot us's.
We should have a shirt with us three designed as the good robot us's.
that's even
Oh
better.
shit.
Those guys are so cool looking. Also, I
Yeah.
like when Station talks about how they built the good robot us's, and then Death is like, he says something about how he helped pick everything out. Like,
Yeah. Death is secretly the best part of that whole movie. I want there to be.
He's great. That actor is amazing.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
that guy.
But I also secretly wanted Bill Hader to be playing him at the same time because I felt like he would do a
It
great
would've
job.
been, if they would have made that movie now, it probably
Yeah,
would have been.
Yeah.
he would do
That
great.
you know who's playing Death, right?
who is that?
The actor.
That guy, his name is William Sattler, and he was in a lot of he was in a couple Tales from the Crypt episodes. He's actually in a Tales from the Crypt episode as Death, like the same Death. He's got the same voice and
Dude,
everything.
I need to watch
that's
that
interesting.
episode.
He also is he was in The Mist. He was in Shawshank. He's in a couple
Oh, that's where I
He's in a
recognized
couple
him
movies.
from.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like one of the redneck dudes in The Mist.
Yeah, he's
one
also
of the two that goes into the thing.
Oh,
so
okay.
that guy is
the back room.
also in another role in Bill and
He's
Ted's
got
Bogus
some
Journey.
range then. Yeah, that's cool.
So
Yeah, towards the end when they're just going to families' houses.
yeah, they're like
He's one of those guys.
he's the stereotypical German dad.
Yeah.
That's him.
He's
yeah.
all over the place. He's been in a
He's
lot
a
of
cool.
stuff.
I've always liked that guy. He's always in he's always got bit parts or stuff like that. But I really like him, and he's
Character
really
actor,
good.
yeah.
He's really good as ignorant redneck in the mist. So,
So my favorite at that part of the movie,
Quite a departure from Death, who's like fantastic and hilarious and like somewhat effeminate, and I love him. He's like one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, well, the whole the scene where what's interesting is God, I'm all over the place. So I hadn't seen Bogus Journey in like 15 or 20 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remembered everything so well. I forgot that was my favorite movie when I was a kid. So the scene when Bill and Ted are falling and they're screaming and then they stop and they're like, "This is a really big hole."
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was a kid, I would go to the playground, get up on the platform, like where there's like a slide and a swing set, and I would stand up there like 6 feet off the ground, and then I would just start screaming, pretending I was falling.
Yeah.
And then I would stop screaming.
You're being Bill and Ted for a minute.
Yeah, I would stop screaming, and then I'd like recite those lines, and then I'd play 20 questions, all by myself, by the way.
Yeah.
And then I would jump and hit the ground.
I
and
like
then
it.
realize I was in hell.
Right.
Also known as elementary school.
Oh, got it.
So yeah, I love Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, but I do like the part at the end when the villain, I can't even think of his name, he interrupts the satellite feed, and all television stations in the world are now broadcasting the San Dimas Battle of the Bands.
Yeah.
And people are like taking interest, like, oh, what is this?
Right.
I'm gonna watch this.
And like there's already subtitles in the other countries and stuff.
It's great. It's a really good movie, and I was surprised when I was going back looking at like the old reviews, like people liked it. People were like, this is kind of a departure from the first movie, and it's kind of its own thing, and it's absurd and weird. And
Yeah, Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars.
Yeah, he said,
"Wow."
You know, a lot of times sequels, they just repeat the first movie, and this movie is so different than the first movie.
There's like some really funny writing in it.
It is, and I think it's better. I think it's a better movie than the first.
It almost feels like a horror movie at certain points, like when the grandma's leaning in for the kiss, and like some of that like flashback stuff, like while they're in hell and like in the.
They're literally in hell. They literally die.
Yeah, and it's like
They get
dark
murdered.
and funny, and I like it.
We're dead, dude.
And they're super positive. Like the first movie for sure, because we watched that the night before we watched Bogus Adventure. So
Bogus Adventure?
No,
You're making
Bogus
up
Journey.
Bill
Bogus
and
Journey.
Ted's Excellent
Adventure, then Bogus Journey.
Bogus.
Right.
It was originally called Bill and Ted Go to Hell. That was the original name of the movie.
I just like that they're super positive.
They are very positive.
It's like a fun movie. So
They even make reference to that, like, hey, they're like, hey, Ted, you think when we get married, the princesses will start sleeping over? Like, it's like so funny.
no, I actually like that the princesses are like they play in the band and like it's like somewhat respectful to them and like they're decent dudes the whole time. Like the bad robot versions of them are not decent and they do some pretty extreme stuff. But them as characters, I like them a lot. So
there you go. That's our
I like when they're doing their when they're asking the princesses to marry.
Oh yeah,
each one, and they're like saying the same thing, but whenever they get to the "Will you marry me" part, it's "Will you marry us?"
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Like they clearly put their heads together to write the speech.
Yeah.
And I think my absolute favorite part of the movie when they're challenging death, and they play Battleship, and they play Twister. When they're playing Clue, and he guesses, and he's like Colonel Mustard.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No way, man! It was Professor Plum." And he's like, "I said that."
Yeah. That was the part that reminded me of Bill Hader. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you chimed in the middle. So this is what happens. We get talking, and then we go, "Whoa, we should probably record this." Mm-hmm. So you just got half of our Bill and Ted's Bogus
We just
Journey
got
review.
a good bit of there we go.
Little juicy bit.
I think all movies should have your favorite characters just die in them, and then they gotta come back. Mm-hmm. That was what Ghostbusters 3 was gonna be at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, cool. Well, that was episode 78. Goodbye, everybody.
That's it.
Welcome to Yes Have Some
Some
Podcast.
Goes to Hell.
Yes Have Some Goes to Hell. Write that down.
I want us to go to heaven though and get to wear those weird like lavender outfits that they wore that like the smart people that go to heaven get to wear.
Beat people up and mug them and not get in trouble for it.
I
in
love
hell.
Oh
the
my
mugging part.
god!
It was
So
good.
Abby had the idea of the three of us doing that costume at Dragon Con.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do that.
Yeah, or I'd want to do like the dead like grayscale version of Bill and Ted, like where they're like
I
do
don't
your
know.
face paint kind
I
of
want
in
to see
grays
Jake as Death in like a little farm girl.
Yes,
I'll
that little
100% do
frou-frou
that.
dress.
Love it.
Yeah.
Like
Cool.
it.
Well, welcome everybody to episode 78 of Yes Have Some. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in, all of our new and old listeners, not old, people.
Long time
listeners. We had a lot of fun. We talked a little bit of Thor. The Thor discussion on Yes Have Some, our Facebook group therapy, was pretty intense,
good, yeah.
man. People have some strong opinions. People really, really do like that movie.
It's a good movie.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
then we got a little Justice League coming out this week.
Oh, cool. You guys excited for that?
Hey, we watched some of those, like, there was extended footage that was released. Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah.
We did a little bit, yeah.
It's just, I already dislike characters so much going into it. Craig and I tried to go to an early screening of it. We were late, unfortunately, because the line was
We were
really
not
long.
late. We were an hour and a half early.
Yeah. I guess a lot of people wanted to see this because the line was extremely long. And at the point at which we got to the theater, it was like pretty obvious that we were going to have to sit in one of the front rows. And I was like, I'm not about to watch Justice League in the front row for my first viewing. I'd rather like pay for a ticket and be able to sit in a reasonable seat that I can choose.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So,
Yeah.
because I'm a princess. And if I'm going to watch this movie, I want to be comfortable. And apparently it's not so hot. Aren't they like...
Well, the Rotten Tomatoes score is not being released till tonight.
Yeah, they're not releasing
so
things.
I guess Rotten Tomatoes is doing some new Facebook show when big movies come out, they do a reveal of the number on Facebook. So that's going to happen tonight as of recording this, but the
big
reviews
tomato
are
reveal?
starting to come out. And surprising to no one, they're pretty bad. The
Ain't
overall
good.
consensus is that Justice League is not a good movie.
I think I heard the phrase polished turd being tossed around. I think Andrew Schaefer posted something about
Right,
Yeah.
Polish turd, yeah.
It's a Polish turd.
Oh, there it is.
I don't know. I think, listen, we'll all judge it when we see it this weekend, and we'll talk about it next week or whatever. But I think the general consensus, I'm going to say, that's what I'm going to keep saying, the general consensus, is that it looks like a Zack Snyder movie, sounds kind of like a Joss Whedon movie, but overall is kind of not great. Mm-hmm. And also, a really bad CGI villain.
Cool. That's what we need.
So,
That's what the world needs more of.
People are saying The Flash is great, though. I don't know. I haven't laughed at any of his lines in the trailers.
Yeah. Who knows? That could just be bad context or like bad trailers. So maybe we'll. I mean, how could we not like Gal Gadot? I feel like I'll watch the movie for her sake. I don't hate Jason Momoa. I'm not excited to go see this movie.
Did you know when they did I don't know if we ever talked about this, when they did the reshoots for this movie, when Zack Snyder stepped away, when Henry Cavill came back to do his reshoots, he was filming another movie and had a mustache, and they had to digitally remove Superman's mustache.
No.
Yeah. And like I keep seeing people be like, please just put
leave
that
it.
footage on the DVD of
Yeah.
Keep
Superman
it.
with a mustache.
Yeah.
Just keep it. The movie's not going to make any sense anyway. Who cares?
No,
if
it'll probably
Superman's
make it
got a
better.
fucking mustache.
Well, it's like
That mustache could save the movie.
It
you
could.
know when like
God, digitally removing the mustache, that's like someone's job description. That's great.
you know like
They make like waxes and bleaches and
in
it's pretty
Ghostbusters, or like I don't in Ghostbusters. It can happen in life if something shocks you or scares you. Your hair can turn gray. And that's kind of what they did in Answer the Call.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something like Superman died, right? And I'm assuming he comes back, but maybe that's something that we've realized, like, oh, when you come back from the afterlife,
You get a mustache.
you get a mustache.
Maybe it's a Kryptonian thing. Like maybe Kryptonians, like when they come back, they have a
Post-death mustache.
Cool.
Well, you usually have to have like a visual change as a character.
What was the
so.
name of our theme park we're going to open?
Fantastic Park.
Fantastic Park, the Yes Have Some theme park.
Superman's mustache ride.
God
Damn it! Did I take it? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's Great Minds.
Did I just call you a bitch? I'm
Called me-
sorry.
It's fine.
But that was
Call me a biatch.
I was gonna say Kryptonian mustache rides.
That's better.
But anyways,
I'm so sorry. Like I do that.
you do.
I see the thunder, I run for it, and then I steal it.
You run for the thunder.
and then I run away.
It's
Sorry.
It's fine. I'm glad we got to say it. All right, cool, everybody. Well, thank you for all of our listeners. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure if you want to have some fun, go to Yes Have
Thanks
Some.
for coming back to the podcast table.
I'm right here. Yes Have Some Facebook group therapy. That's where we talk. That's where we chat about this stuff. After the episodes, that's where we go and digest everything and get our thoughts out. And It's a good time. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's a safe place to share your feelings.
Jake,
Yeah,
would you,
I agree with that.
It's a safe place.
It's super safe.
It's pretty safe, yeah.
Well, it's a rough world out there these days, so, you need it.
I need it.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys want to talk about Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been waiting, so.
Well, my rundown says, Craig, at this point, talk about Stranger Things. So I'm going by that.
Okay.
Hey, it's been a couple weeks. We didn't really break it down too much. Obviously, we were out of town. We were at Spooky Empire in Orlando. People wanted to digest it. We wanted to avoid spoilers, and we wanted to make sure that we all took it in. Jake, you finished it a little bit after us, but now that we've all seen Season 2 of Stranger Things, after all the anticipation, all the build-up, all the hype, and I'm not going to lie, there is a Walking Dead level of hype right now for Stranger Things. People are into it. There's a lot of merchandise. Those kids are everywhere.
I think it's at peak saturation at this point. Like, we've hit it. It's everywhere.
I'm saturated.
Yeah, people can't get enough. Because with the first season, there wasn't the knowledge that it was going to be a hit. Like, we've heard from, I've listened to interviews with Duffer Brothers, both the Duffer Brothers, about how...
No, just
Duffer Brother.
With Duffer Brother.
Let's just go with Duffer Brother. I don't know what happened. I think I was having a stroke. Basically, they didn't know. Like, it was just another one of many shows that was coming out on Netflix. So there wasn't a lot of merchandise and, like, stuff related to the show that you could get your hands on when it was out. And people couldn't get enough. And now it's like they knew that anticipation, like, going into it. Similar to with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And there's, like, just a bunch of stuff out there. And, like, shirts that I want and stuff that's cool. It's like a lot of cool stuff.
A lot of cool
season,
stuff.
So.
I don't own any Stranger Things merchandise, but McFarlane's putting out the new action figures, and they all look really good. So maybe we'll pick those up.
Whenever I see it, I want it, but like I don't have anything personally either.
Right.
So.
You don't steal the thunder.
No.
Cool.
Sorry.
Jake, let's start with you.
Okay.
All right. Overall thoughts. What did you think of Season 2 of Stranger Things?
Overall, I thought it was. It's got some really great moments. There's a couple episodes that I really like, but I overall felt disappointed. I don't think it's as good as the first season, and it's kind of. I think the finale's one of the best episodes, but it also like. I don't know, man. Like I don't know where the show's gonna go. I don't know. It wasn't what I expected from a season 2. It wasn't as good. It was kind of, it drug along. The first half of the season was kind of like, okay, is stuff going to happen here? Like, what's happening? I don't know, man. There's also something that we're all going to talk about that took me completely out of the show and killed the show's momentum. And I think was the worst thing they could have done. I don't know. And I wonder if I know like we were listening to a podcast with the Duffs. That's what I'm gonna call them.
Duffer Brother.
Singular. We were listening to a podcast with those guys before we were on our way to Spooky, and they were talking about how it was originally. I'm pretty sure they said that it was originally just going to be like a 1-season thing, and it became super popular, and it created the desire for them to keep going. And whenever you watch the second season and it's not so good or not as good, it makes you be like, maybe it should have been a 1-season thing. Like maybe it should have been like maybe how popular and how good the first season is hurts how good the second season is, because it's like it was such a big event and everyone loved it so much, and it's so well acted and it's so well cast and it's so well written. That it's like, well, how do you turn around and just do that again?
Right. Almost like how Freaks and Geeks is like solidified as being kind of a perfect show because it has just that one season. And if it were to go on and have a second one, like, would it be able to hold up? And I feel like the cast of characters on Freaks and Geeks, like, you care about them just as much as the characters from Stranger Things. And that's why I was looking forward to the show, because I really liked the kids. And I thought that there were really funny, like, standout characters that first season. And I liked the overall feel of the show. And I think, honestly, like you, Jake, it was A little bit of a letdown. I think I wrote down I gave it a B+. Like, initially, I think I thought A-, but with more thought, I think that there were some things that... choices that I didn't agree with.
B+ is still a pretty good
It's
rating.
still pretty good.
It's still good. Like, I'm not saying that it's a
yeah.
bad show. I'm not saying it was a bad show at all, but it also, like, the first episode I felt was pretty boring. And I was like, the first episode of Stranger Things season 2, like, should not be boring. I think the second episode is probably one of the best episodes, but it still felt like it was kind of dragging along and didn't start coming together until close to like episode 6, and that's too far into the series when you only got 8 episodes or 9 episodes.
For things to pick up. Yeah.
And also things just didn't really, like, to me, things didn't pan out. Like, they didn't, I don't know, like, it just seemed like it was such a weird.
Well, I think I agree with you on that, Jake, and I think that one of the plot lines that fell short for me, that was one of those things that was kind of weird, was the search for Barb and, like, her justice and that kind of thing. And I know that was a big thing that the fans cried out, like, after the first season, but I felt like that plot line on the show was something that took Nancy, and what's his name? Jonathan. I felt like their romance, sure, that's something I kind of wanted to watch. I didn't mind, like, the kooky conspiracy theorist guy, because he was on that show Love, and he plays that, like, therapist character very well. I didn't hate watching that, but it was, like, not as good as their storyline from the first season, because the first season it was directly related to Will, and it was all very neatly tied and, like, braided and woven together, and they were all, like, building towards the same stuff, but they were kind of out on their own little mission in this season, and I felt like that was, like, also sort of, like, referencing stuff that was going on already in the world outside of Stranger Things, where it's like, we're acknowledging that you guys were mad about Barb. Now it's in here. It kind of felt a little bit jammed and forced and, like, shoehorned.
Yeah,
Right.
so I think the Duffer Brothers, so that's a really tough spot for them to be in, right? Because they created this thing, it blows up, the fans love it, but there's one thing I want to say. Fans suck. Vocal fans who watched, here we go.
Fans suck.
Fans
really
suck.
have to rip that and put it in
Fans
intro.
suck. Anybody who watched season 1 of Stranger Things and your takeaway was, oh, they did Barb wrong. Fuck you. Like, what is that? Like,
my takeaway was they did Nancy right. I like that she became equipped and badass by the end of the show.
Nancy.
And made some good decisions. Yeah, she is. She's a total homage to fucking, what's her name?
Nancy.
Nancy, yeah. Oh my God, Heather Logenkamp? Is that how you say her name?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just love that you were like, Nancy.
Nancy.
She's an homage to what's her name?
Wait, what's her name, right? Yeah.
Nancy.
No, but obviously, and in looks and in character progression and all that kind of stuff.
But what I'm saying is, like, it's hard for the Duffer Brothers because all of a sudden they're put in a spot where they probably had no ambitions of revisiting Barb. It's a thing that happened. She died. Sometimes that happens, and it sucks, but you move on. It's part of the story.
Yeah, and they were, like, basically...
I think they felt like they had to address
include it in the dialogue.
And I agree with it. It didn't do much for the show. It didn't, like, oh, cool, now, like... So here's my issue with season 2, because I did enjoy a majority of it, but the Paul Reiser character and all the dudes who are in the ones who are trying to contain the Upside Down,
Right.
like, they weren't really a threat anymore. You kind of realize, like, they didn't actually know what they were doing.
Yeah, because Papa was evil as fuck.
They were.
I liked that.
And I was even confused. Like, I thought they were all bad guys the first half of the season. And I was like, oh, okay, they're still experimenting, or they're still trying to do something. And then it's not until a little later that you realize, oh, wait, like, he's trying to stop it too.
Yeah, he just fell into that role, and it's kind of like
bad guy
everything
in
turns
this?
into Jurassic Park, and it's like Dr. Hammond, and it's like...
That was a huge Jurassic Park, like, the whole, like, having...
The Demodogs were pretty much velociraptors.
They were like raptors,
yeah,
and it also felt like aliens, but the nature of Bob having to be the one to go...
oh, yeah.
Fix the breaker, the circuits.
I'm a hacker.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I was half expecting Samuel L. Jackson's arm to end up on Bob's shoulder.
Yes. Man.
I think
wish Ellie
Jurassic
Sattler was
Park
in
is back in business. Is that the line? Anyways, I probably just fucked all that up.
It's not.
What is the line?
It's just, I think we're back in business.
I think we're back in business.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Well,
I think Fantastic Park is back in business.
Cool. Hey, how long? Is there a fast pass for the Kryptonian mustache rod?
Oh, There's no line.
No line. There's no line we won't cross.
Well, it's a quick ride. It's a quick ride.
It's
so.
quick.
so fast.
It's so fast.
It's a lot of short lines.
I don't like it. It vibrates all over. Anyways.
Craig got sick on the Kryptonian mustache.
Oh my god!
I threw up from my penis.
God. We all have like immediate counseling after that ride. It's fun.
I don't know what's happening. It's because of Hollywood. Everything's so sexualized.
Yeah.
Can't even like Kevin Spacey and John Travolta anymore.
Oh man, what a rough week for
We'll never
things
get
that I love.
the Grease
Baby Driver.
spin-off.
Yeah.
All right. So back to Stranger Things.
Yes,
let's
back
talk.
in.
I want to talk about some stuff I liked about it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the.
There were lots of things I liked. I'll say
So
that.
6 months ago or whatever, when the first trailer came out, we had that big discussion about what role will Ghostbusters play. I think we can now say we were all wrong. It didn't really play that much of a role.
Yeah.
Like,
No, not at all.
They didn't use, the notion of, the parallel dimensions and Gozer and all. It was kind of I guess that was kind of they didn't really up the ante as far as the threat. Like, I know the Shadow Monster was the giant threat, but it was kind of a continuation of
D&D wheelhouse, keeping it within
still
those monsters.
The Demogorgon, all that stuff. But obviously, Ghostbusters in the second episode played a big role as we knew it was going to. So they all had the Halloween costumes. Yeah. We got the Ghostbusters theme. Everybody was talking about that, the conversation they have, because there's two Venkmans and Lucas doesn't want to be Winston.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you have to be Winston. And he's like, Winston sucks. So this is one thing I wanted to bring up. Guys, does Winston suck?
I don't think Winston sucks.
Well,
I think
talk
he's
about it.
one of the best parts of Ghostbusters. He's got great lines.
Well, according to them, their 3 reasons. It was actually really funny.
They're
like, Winston sucks.
He's cool. I've always thought he was just cool as fuck.
Well, according to, I don't know, Dustin or Mike or somebody, or maybe it was Lucas who said it.
It's Lucas.
It's Lucas.
Yeah.
He's not funny. He's not a scientist.
He's only in like half the movie.
And he shows up halfway through the movie. But he knows New York.
Maybe he's like an acquired taste, like as you get older.
I don't think Winston sucks. I can see, like when you're kids, you might be like, the other 3 are the main guys. They're probably funnier than Winston. They're in the movie more than, like, I can see that argument, but it also was kind of like, wasn't it kind of a bummer? Like, didn't that scene kind of bum you out? Because like,
yeah.
Well, because Winston always gets shit on.
Because we're super into this world of Ghostbusters, and to this day, Ernie Hudson is the most vocal, and he goes out and does the most with fans than anybody else from that film. And also, like, we're still getting posters and DVD covers where, like, Winston's not on it. You know what I mean? Like, we still get shit like that constantly, and it is bullshit. So, like, it sucks whenever we see things like that, and then we're watching something like Stranger Things where we're like, oh, this is going to be great. They're going to talk about Ghostbusters, and they're like, Winston sucks.
Oh, that's the joke, right?
And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They're making a joke out of, like,
they're
whatever.
They're going to do that,
like,
right.
Stupid. Yeah, they're going to do that just like everybody
That's
else.
What they're gonna do.
Right.
I thought it would be funny if they all had Egon patches.
Hey, why not?
They're all Spangler because they all want to be smart.
Yeah.
And he gets Janine.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? People forget about that in the first movie. Egon gets Janine. And Andy Potts
he's very handy.
He's very handy.
They're both very handy.
But then Janine moves on to Lewis.
It's kind of a downgrade. She looks cute in the second movie, but her decisions are questionable.
Yeah.
She's a little smart in the first one. I should talk to her. We should talk. I did talk to Annie Potts once, kind of. I don't know if I really spoke.
Yeah. So yeah, the Ghostbuster stuff was pretty cool. It's always cool, like, hearing the music outside of, just watching Ghostbusters, seeing it referenced in, pop culture.
Especially the ending. I liked the ending of that episode is like Dustin and he's catching.
Yeah.
It's like you don't see Dart, but he finds Dart for the first time. And then the credits cut right to the Ghostbuster theme. And I thought that was really cool.
Very, very cool. I loved all that.
And all the stuff with Dart and Dustin, like,
Nougat.
Yeah, giving him it was very much like Gremlins, right?
Yeah.
That's what I felt.
For sure. There's even like a scene where there's like some very Gremlins-esque music being played,
Corey
and
Feldman?
it sounds like it is purposefully the Gremlins theme being played.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no shortage of references and homages to so much stuff. Like, you can't really... It's not even fun. Like, it's just there and it exists. Like, a lot of it is just homages, but it's not... They're not always beating you over the head with, like, what the references are. You just kind of pick up on them a lot of times subconsciously.
Right.
What do you guys think about that?
I completely agree. I think there's tons of little tiny things that you can pick up on. Some that might not be significant, like in the classroom at one point, their teacher's talking about a resurrection from like a historical like medical case of someone whose name was Phineas Gage. And having just read Pet Sematary, Gage is the little boy from the book. That's his name. So I thought that could have been like a little tiny Easter egg. But there's also like bigger stuff that feels like thematically or aesthetically, obviously like James Cameron is a huge influence to them. You see a lot of that blue light and a lot of the stuff that takes place with like the containment of the Upside Down, and again like the Demogorgon becoming like multiple, like becoming a large threat and like multiplying, and the way that they act, just it felt like a lot of Jurassic Park, like
there's Jurassic Park, there's aliens, there's Close Encounters.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Which is good, yeah.
So let's talk about as far as the characters go, because like obviously I think coming out of that first season, like everybody loved Dustin, right? It was like, oh, that kid's awesome. He's kind of a little asshole, but he's so cute that you just love it. I feel like I didn't get that Dustin feeling this time around. Like, he was still kind of an asshole, but because he's a little bit older...
Well, he's got teeth now, so his like big flaw and his like imperfection has kind of been tweaked. So some of that's
I don't know. I just kind of felt like
sympathy or something is gone.
I was kind of like, I was kind of iffy on Dustin this season, but I thought Lucas was awesome. Like I thought Lucas, like
Lucas's family too, like his little sister and his parents were funny,
and all the stuff with Lucas and Max was great.
Yeah, that was
like,
good stuff.
Yeah.
They did a good, as far as like character development, they did a good job there.
Well, do you think they did Dustin unfairly? Because they kind of wrote his character as being like a little bit of kind of a putz. Like none of his lines worked. Like he ends up getting like a sympathy dance at the end with Nancy, and not actually getting the girl because him and Lucas are competing for Max.
The way he says "son of a bitch" doesn't work for me. Like nobody says "son of a bitch" that much and like fits it into places. Like because he'll be like, "Oh no, son of a bitch! What are we gonna do, son of a bitch?" And it's like, what? He just kind of squeezes it.
Wait,
in.
were there any F-bombs? Because I thought there was a problem with the kids dropping F-bombs, or at least with.
Well, there was
No.
one F-bomb, but it's not the F you're talking about.
Oh, the other F word, which you get a lot, by the way, in Bill and Ted.
Yeah, it's
Just for fun.
It's
Yeah,
kind of
you do.
It's a different time.
It's a different time. It's kind of upsetting. No. Well, speaking of that, I did want to talk about Max's older brother. What did you guys think of him? What is his name? Billy. What did you guys think of Billy? I liked Billy.
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good job, and I think that actor did a really good job of being, somebody that you hated, because he's awful. He's super awful, and every time he's on screen, I was like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a
Get this
sociopath.
fucking guy out of here. But that's good. Like that's what they were aiming for. That guy was really good. But here's something I want to complain about.
Do it.
One of the characters that I ended up liking towards the here's a character that I didn't like during season 1 that I like by the time season 1 is over, and that's Steve.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And then so Steve's kind of like the bully in the first season, but he becomes a good guy. So like they bring this guy in to be like the new bully because everyone like Steve's good in it. I like Steve. He's good in this season, except like you want so badly to watch Steve beat that guy's ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Steve's a pretty good guy this season, and he's like doing all the right things. He's like being a good guy. He's
like
like
Uncle
helping
Buck.
the kids, and he's got that baseball bat, which is really cool, and he's got perfect hair. And whenever you're getting to those last few episodes, and you're like, cool, I'm so ready to watch this guy get beat up, or like something's gonna happen. He's been an asshole all season. We're going to get to watch Steve beat him up, and it's going to be cool. Then they have a fight, and that guy kicks Steve's ass immediately,
And like you're like, oh, so like Steve just got beat up.
Yeah.
Most
Like,
untriumphant.
You're like, oh, it was.
It's such
You're
a
right.
bummer. No, I totally
Right.
agree.
It was
and
a
then
bummer. It was a little bit of a letdown.
and then Max doing it in the end is kind of like, I get what they're going for. They're empowering
but
her,
it was
but it's
like,
a little too late.
it was
You
a
wanted
bummer
it.
of a resolution for that thing. It's like you wanted to see Steve overcome because that guy's like making fun of Steve the whole season. He's like, oh, I thought you used to be the big guy here. And,
Yeah.
like you're like, cool, Steve's gonna shut this guy up.
Yes.
And be like, I still am. But
I wanted to
he
see that
did.
too.
Yeah.
Because I
It
love
didn't happen.
Steve and I love to hate the brother because he's such a piece of shit. But you also kind of want to see him hook up with Nancy's mom for like.
Oh yeah, that was a great scene.
Yeah, I know. It's really
that
great.
happened off screen.
Yeah,
It had to have
there was
happened.
that was not.
Dude, when
TV
he
show.
like pulls his waist of his jeans out and does a little spritz down there, like I love that moment. Then does his hair.
That chemistry felt like that was coming from Offset. Like there
Yeah.
was something else there.
It was real.
That wasn't even written in the script.
No. They just got off the Kryptonian mustache ride. And he doesn't even have a mustache.
Tastes like little wispies.
No, yeah, I thought Billy was great. I thought Max was pretty good. I'm glad they introduced a new character, put a female dynamic besides 11. Let's talk. Well, I don't want to go too long on Stranger Things, but let's talk about 11's storyline real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved. Okay, there's things I loved about 11's storyline. There's things I didn't like. I did not like that. The big mystery was like, oh, is 11 coming back? How is she going to get back? And then within like 3 minutes, it's like, oh, she just came back. Like, she's just back immediately.
Yeah.
But I did like Hopper taking her in, keeping her in that cabin, and all of that stuff I thought was pretty well done.
Yeah.
I did too. I agree.
I really liked
all
it.
that stuff in the cabin was good.
A begrudging father-daughter dynamic. I'm all about it. Like, obviously, we were fans of Logan. You see that stuff. It played out really well. Hopper's great. And her, like, little tantrums that she throws and you wanting her to get out of there is great. Now, when she gets out of there, I don't know how we all feel about that episode.
I want to touch on that in a second, but I did want to say, like, I did not rewatch season 1 of Stranger Things before the new season, and I completely forgot that, like, Hopper's daughter died.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot about that. And I feel like that would have even added more of an emotional weight to the scenes between Hopper and 11, but they did a great job.
Wasn't there, like, some little Easter egg about Hopper's daughter had, like, a bracelet, like a little blue piece of material that
I think it was a headband.
Something, yeah. It ends up on 11's wrist
11's
or something.
wearing it, yeah.
There's a good small thread of connection. But yeah, if you had rewatched the first season, I'm sure that would have been fresh.
There's also, everybody is theorizing that Steve he's going to become a cop and become like Hopper's partner in Hawkins, Indiana.
There's also
sure.
a
I'll watch
rumor
it.
that's probably true that you guys have probably seen this, but Hopper's daughter died not in the hospital, but in that facility.
Right. Probably.
Because there's like scenes from his flashback.
Yeah, that would make
looks
sense.
Exactly like the same place, so they're gonna go somewhere with that.
He'll have a revenge like arc with that. That would make sense. I read also, I'm sure you guys did too, about the Bob Pennywise theory, like the connection that it's actually in Stephen King universe.
I loved Bob.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Bob real
Big
quick.
fan.
What about Bob?
What about
Get out of
Don't
the
want Bob for dinner, Faye.
So
Bob's
Bob
a
was
sweet
good.
guy.
I always forget Sean Astin. He's great. Like, he's great in
He is
everything
great,
he's
yeah.
in. And like, they cast him to be, he's kind of he's a smart, caring buffoon in this movie,
Right.
or in this show. He kind of like, he means well. He's kind of clueless. When he shows up and sees that Will has, drawn this entire thing over the house, which is the shadow monster, and he's all freaked out until he realizes it's a map of Hawkins, and then he's like super into it.
Wait, I know maps.
2 maps. I thought Bob was great, and I think that I cannot think of her name. Will somebody please tell me her name?
Winona Ryder?
Yes, thank you. I think she wasn't quite as crazy this season. She didn't have the Like in the first season, it's like that was like it was almost like Jack Torrance levels of like this. She's losing her mind.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, she does
her
when her
son's not missing in this season.
Yeah.
So.
She loses it when he's in the hospital and she's screaming about my boy.
My boy.
My boy. Which
But
got a lot more will this season. So.
yeah, and I thought Bob was great. Let's talk about that episode and we'll move on. We'll be doing some more Stranger Things talk coming up soon. I think Chapter 7, The Lost Sister. 11 gets on a bus. She goes to Chicago, makes it there in about 9 minutes. Although Hawkins, Indiana to Chicago is probably not that far of a bus trip. This is kind of a controversial episode. It's definitely a risk to take to have a narrative that's completely outside of the normal structure of the show. Obviously, this is about they never name her, but I guess her name would just be 8, who would have been another person in the facility. 11 seeks her out. She kind of hangs out with a group of,
punk rock dream warriors.
Yeah. I guess that's a good way to describe them. I mean, Abby, what'd you think of this episode?
I was not a fan of this episode. I felt like introducing an entirely new cast of characters into a late season episode is asking way too much of my investment when I know that these characters are going to die off, similar to Expose in Lost and like Nikki and Paulo. And when it's like, oh, let's explore the others on the island. Like, who are these other people? Exploring the other victims of, what's the name of the institute? Like the bad guys? I don't know.
ITT Tech.
Yeah. But like, yeah, the other kids that were, it's kind of like an X-Men storyline. Like these kids that had special powers and underwent all this torture, left, and now they're like getting revenge on these guys. And is 11 going to live the rest of her life, like anger leads to hate kind of thing, going and killing these people? Can she do it? I did not give a fuck about that. And I also didn't like the whole like makeover montage thing. Just speaking honestly, like it felt like sequel-itis in like a way that I guess it's fine if she gets a different look. And I really liked the stuff that they did in the first season with her getting the wig and the dress and like pretty and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was really touching and special and moving. And because that was so sweet and touching and moving and I loved it so much, it just felt unnecessary to veer off, especially when those characters don't pop back up. They don't really matter. It felt like we just needed to get 11 away from the group and then have her come back after going through a growing up process. And it felt so rushed. And honestly, it's like if they were going to do it over 2 episodes, do it over 3 episodes, and invest and elongate that and fill in more backstory on those characters. It's not like I really disliked the punk rock guy with like the mohawk. I just was not into his whole thing. And it felt like a Marvel like TV show, and I don't love those, and it just wasn't my thing, and it didn't feel like it was congruent with the rest of this season. So that's
Right.
my thought.
Her name was Callie, by the way.
Callie.
I said she didn't have a name, but she clearly did. Okay. Jake, what did you think of this episode?
I agree with everything Abby just said. I think like the seasons are too short to try to do that, especially like whenever things are like ramping up and it's like you're getting close to the end of the season and you're finally starting to get invested in all the crazy shit that's happening. And then you're like, oh, but here, let's have an episode that has nothing to do with the rest of the show. It's also weird. Like those characters are the very first characters you see in the very first episode.
Right.
And then you don't catch back up with them until then. And then it's just it's weird. That's weird to do because it's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to the plot. And it's just not, I don't know. It took me out of the show completely. Like I watched that episode and I was like, what the fuck is what is happening?
Yeah.
I didn't like it. Yeah. I didn't like anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't love it. I don't think I maybe was, to me, I'm glad they were able to go try something different. It's probably more of a lesson learned for them. Like, there's something to be, because the movie plays out like a sequel to the first, or the show plays out like a movie sequel, right? And it's just weird to have this chunk of time that's kind of its complete, like a completely standalone thing where you get the feeling like, well, maybe this stuff is going to be important and maybe like revealing all these kids who are in this facility is something they're going to play with down the line. But the execution of it is It's
it
just
feels
strange.
disrespectful because those characters are supposed to have suffered extreme trauma, but you're getting a succinct distillation of all that trauma in the one girl explaining, like, this is so-and-so, she was fucked with this and this and this way. Like, I can't think of the specifics, but instead of, like, being able to show an actual, like, flashback sequence that gives a little bit more depth to the character, it was delivered in, like, exposition. And
it's not... So,
it.
a lot of shows do have episodes that kind of veer off, and, like, well, the episode of Breaking Bad that Rian Johnson directed... I can't...
The Fly?
Well, it is the one with the fly. I keep wanting to call it Namaste, but that's definitely not it.
Ozymandias?
Ozymandias, thank you. I knew it was a Watchmen thing. Or, anyways. That's kind of a standalone thing. And that I remember that episode was kind of like some people who are they just want to see the story progressing and moving forward, and we don't have time for that. Like, so I commend the Duffer Brothers for trying something, but Jake, I completely agree with you. If you only have 9 episodes... If you're going to do something standalone, do it with the characters we already know. Like, give me the Dustin Steve road trip episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, at least I wasn't...
Because you love those characters, you want to see them, and I was enjoying watching them interact, so I was like, get back to Hawkins.
And because it felt like X-Men-ish, or like, I don't know, New Mutants, or something along those lines, like...
Derivative of other things.
It took me out of it, because I was like, well, this is just almost like a ripoff, or like a poorly done version of that kind of thing.
Like, we see what you're doing, we just aren't into it.
And then
it's just weird. It's weird to me, like, when you only got 9 episodes and you're starting to, like, literally the episode or 2 right before that are really when you kind of start getting invested in, like, what's happening. And it's like, okay, so you're telling me that you only have 9 episodes, you have all these characters, you have all this shit happening, but you still have time to just go do something completely different. Like, that episode couldn't have been spent better, learning more about anything else that we're already seeing.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. But Jake, like, they do bounce back from it. The last 2 episodes of the season are really good.
I agree. The finale's great. The finale's great, and I love the like epilogue, all that shit at the end with them at the dance. Like, it's all good stuff. Like, it's good. It was weird because I felt like I wanted more of how the finale felt the rest of the season. I was like, oh, like, why did it take 9 episodes for me to feel like this?
These guys are so influenced by Stephen King and Steven Spielberg that, almost like how the new 2017 It was, I think Stranger Things works better as a coming-of-age tale. Like, all of the character interactions are always more interesting and satisfying to me than, like, the science fiction aspects of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because my favorite scene of the whole season was the dance. Like, because you're, like, it's like emotional.
John Hughes movie, yeah.
Yeah.
And all the stuff with Demogorgon and Mike, not Mike. Mike was super emo this season, by the way.
Yeah.
He just missed 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they kind of...
You get confused because we're accustomed to him playing Richie Tozier, so we're used to him really...
Well, he's played Richie Tozier for years.
Just for years.
All right.
No, well, you're like, oh, why isn't he funny? You're like, oh, yeah, he was never really.
Before we wrap up the Stranger Things talk, I mean, listen, you could do this. You could talk about it for days, right? Maybe we will. Maybe we'll have a more thorough breakdown in the future. Where do you guys think the story's going from here? Like, obviously they're writing season 3 right now. They've said they want it to be 4 to 5 seasons. Maybe, where would you like it to go? What do you think, Ab?
I just want to see a Steve spinoff, honestly. Where he does his
just
hair.
Like Steve, just babysitting the kids.
Steve and the kids, I loved all that. I mean, I think the only tease we got, wasn't there like a giant queen-looking monster at one point that you see like the outline of? Like,
well, they reveal the shadow monster is still there at the end of it.
Right. So they're gonna face off against that, and I mean, I don't know where it's gonna go from here. I honestly just want to see as much Steve as possible.
So you just want a spin-off show called Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Stranger Things presents Steve.
Steve and the kids.
Steve and the kids.
Yeah.
Dustin?
Steve and the real Stranger Things.
Son of a bitch.
I like that. So Steve's like Slimer.
Mm-hmm.
He's just eating the food.
Exactly. He's just
Slimer! Mm-hmm. Jake, where do you want to see this show go?
I don't know, man. Like I don't know how the show's gonna go because I don't want to see like 3 or 4 seasons of like, oh, here's another threat from the Upside Down. Like it's got to be. I don't know. I liked the finale, but like when they cut to the very end and show that shit is still happening in the Upside Down, you're like 3 times in a row. Like wouldn't they? I don't know. Wouldn't they move out of this town or like what's happening? I don't like you just live in this town forever and just keep battling demons from the same. It seems like it's got to be season 3 has got to be different. Like I mean, there's still going to be, a threat from the Upside Down, but I feel like it's got to be like a drastically different feel or a different threat, or it's just going to get old. You know what I mean?
I hope
it's cool in the first season. It's not quite as cool in the second season, which means if they don't change it, the third season is going to be like, cool, well, this show's done.
Yeah, they're going to go to space.
They're in that tough spot, too, where they're probably like, well, we want it to be different, but we know if it's too different, then you get, like, the backlash, and it's just like, I kind of am leaning towards I wish it would have just been a one-season thing, because now they're almost in a lose-lose situation. I mean, I'm sure they can write. I kind of wish it would do a Twin Peaks thing and just do something completely different that's, like, loosely related to Stranger Things, but that's not going to happen. So
that evokes the same feelings, but like is its own original.
They can. I feel like maybe they should spend a little more time dealing with the experiments on the kids and stuff, and maybe a little less, upside down stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's 2 things going on, and if it's revealed that Hopper's daughter, I believe her name was Sarah, was like did die in that facility, that means there's more to that story and more to the experiments and all that, and maybe we can we can still have a monster or something to fight, but I feel like maybe they should shift the focus a little bit.
And they talk about how
in order for it to not get boring.
And they keep talking about how like it sucks that the kids are growing up. Like, no, it's fine. They can be older. Like, if we had to wait, I'd rather wait 3 years for a really great season 3 than them just rushing out another season and just having something that might be subpar.
What if they waited like 28 years and then add like adult casting for all of them, similar to it, and like the everything's back.
Demogorgon just comes back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. Do it. Listen, as a Harry Potter fan, I am in a situation where. What? All right, cool. Let's move on.
Forgot.
You guys ready for this fuck budget?
Yeah.
Are we fuck budgeting?
Oh, I hope so.
We're budgeting.
I got a
our
fuck
fucks.
budget.
Mother, fuck.
No. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's time for the fuck budget, the fun segment where we go through 5 topics. I give them to Jake and Abby, and they allocate how many fucks they give.
10 fucks.
For each topic. They get 10 fucks total to give. And the trick is, you got to be careful, because if you care too much about one thing, you're not allowed to care about the other. None of the points matter, but they matter more than anything you could ever imagine. Are you guys
ready? The cares
ready?
matter.
The cares matter. You guys ready to roll?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nobody has been informed of these topics beforehand. Is this a true statement?
No.
Blindfold.
What?
No. I know nothing.
We all have blindfolds on.
That's not true.
I don't know why.
Fucks.
How? Yes.
Here we go. Starting off, today, the first teaser trailer for Deadpool 2 was released. My question is, Abigail Gardner, how many fucks do you give about this trailer?
I'm going to go ahead and give 3 fucks to this trailer because I thought it was funny, and I always forget how much I like Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool, and when I saw that movie, I watched it twice, and it was, I just really enjoyed the first Deadpool. I really, just associated and identified, and I liked the dark humor, and I liked the characters, and I'm excited for the sequel to this movie. I know there's been some changes. The original director's not coming back, so I'm a little bit stressed, but I like Bob Ross, and I like the little the painting sequence that they did. I thought it got some
cool.
laughs. Yeah, so
and we got
3 fucks.
And also Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Yeah,
and a cool X-Men costume.
Yeah, she's coming back, and she looks really good. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that? Or just 3 fucks?
Just 3 fucks.
Jacob Walsh, how many fucks do you give about this Deadpool trailer?
I gave it 1.
Wow.
I gave it 1 fuck.
Here he
Yeah.
goes.
Oh, yeah?
Here he goes.
All right.
No, I don't have a problem.
Here he comes.
Guys, I like
Comes
Deadpool.
Jacob Walsh.
I thought it was cute. It was funny.
So cute.
But ultimately, I just think teaser trailers kind of piss me off a little bit. So I just gave it 1 fuck. I would give the movie itself more than 1 fuck. I give this teaser trailer 1 fuck.
You don't respect the teaser, Jake?
Nah. Nah. I thought it was, I mean, it's funny, but like, it's 2 minutes long and only like 20 seconds of it are actual footage from the movie. The rest of it is just kind of dumb.
That's what you think until
yeah?
you watch that movie and halfway through you're like, oh, here's that Bob Ross scene.
Here we go. It all makes sense now.
It's just that scene is in the movie. No, I'm not like, I don't think there's anything wrong with the trailer. I thought it was fine, but it's just like teaser trailers don't get me. I don't know. They bother me a little bit. They're I don't know. I don't like being. I just want the trailer.
You don't want to be teased.
Trailer.
Here's the question.
I just want the trailer.
There's about 20 seconds of footage from the movie. Is the 20 seconds you saw more than likely better than any 20 seconds you'll see in Justice League?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Definitely.
Cool.
Well, I'm pretty sure the 1 fuck I just gave a Deadpool teaser trailer is more fucks than I've ever given any DC related garbage.
Jake, I
Sorry,
feel like
Batman.
you never tell us how you feel.
Yeah. I'm always like wondering. So.
Yeah, sometimes we cut when we're done with the show. I'm like, I just wish Jake would like let us know what he's really feeling.
Yeah, like I just never know.
Maybe it's like a self-hate thing. Like he get like afterwards we Jake's like, all right guys, bye, and then he like closes his computer and then he just puts on a Batman mask and cries.
His Kylo Ren helmet and sits in the bathtub.
I just like punch things that I just like draw the Joker on stuff and just punch it.
Jake's at the fucking gas station and he's like, why so serious? And they're like, what?
He's like, no, I hate myself. I can't
When
stop
did that
doing
movie
this.
come out? How long ago has that been?
Dark Knight?
Dark Knight. What year did that
2000.
come out?
It'll be 10 years next summer.
Wow, 10 years since a good Batman movie, huh?
Bring it back.
Hey,
I think it's ripe.
You know what? I'm not really one to speak on this, but apparently all of like there's some new animated Batman movies that are supposed to be really good. Maybe we should watch those instead.
Yeah.
I've seen. Yeah, I would watch those.
Yeah, there you go.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Sounds good.
Next
let's do it.
topic for the fuck budget.
Let's do it. What we got?
Next, it has been announced that Rian Johnson, writer-director of Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi, is now developing his own trilogy in the Star Wars universe. It's going to be an original 3-film series. The first one's going to be directed by Rian Johnson, and he's heading up the whole thing. It's going to not be related or associated necessarily to the Skywalker saga, but it's coming. Jake, what do you think?
Yeah. I gave this I'm just kidding. I gave it 4.
Oh, whoa.
I gave this 4 fucks.
That's the most fucks you've ever given.
Yeah.
It is. It's the most I've ever given, and I almost gave it less, and I'm nervous about it. But like it's Star Wars, and like Rian Johnson has done well so far, and the Star Wars that we've been getting has been very good. And I mean, I know we've only seen 2 so far, but still, out of those 2, one of them is probably the best Star Wars so far. You know what I mean? And we're about to have a new one that looks amazing, and from what we hear, it could be the best Star Wars movie. So it's just like we're getting good stuff. We've talked about the Han Solo thing before, and I'm less excited for it, but I don't doubt that it's going to be a good movie. So part of you is like, or part of me, I'm not speaking for you guys, but like part of me is nervous that it's like, oh, 3 more Star Wars movies happening. This is happening. This is happening. It's like, it scares me that there's going to be so much, but it also is exciting. And to me, it's exciting that it's going to be all new characters. That I like that. That was one of the things that I really liked about Rogue One. It was just like, it just felt new, and you have more room to play around with the worlds and the mythology. If you're doing completely new characters, it's like, if you mess it up a little bit, it's like, okay, well, they messed it up, but at least they didn't fuck up, the saga we know, because it's its own thing. So it makes me nervous, but it also makes me excited because we got a lot of Star Wars coming. So I gave it 4.
4 fucks.
Well, Jake, you're making me feel bad for only giving this 1 fuck.
What?
I feel like I should give more now because, like, I'm like, oh, it does make sense to explore. But no, I gave it 1 fuck because I haven't seen The Last Jedi yet. And until I see that, I will not be able to allocate more fucks to this. Because
What about a fuck credit card?
Yeah, did they take credit? No, it's like I liked Looper. I don't remember, like, loving it.
I loved Looper.
I should probably revisit it. But I think that...
And then revisit it again.
And then maybe
go back
again,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
on a cycle. But yeah, no, I feel like I have high hopes for The Last Jedi, but until I see it, until I fall in love with his directing style and like really get into this and want more and I'm like have a taste for it, I'm not gonna give like a really a good fuck about it yet. More than 1 is how I feel.
That makes sense.
I think
that makes sense. I almost gave it less, but I just couldn't. I was like, no, it's Star Wars and it's big news. I couldn't do it. But I see where you're coming from.
It sounds like it excites you, which after hearing your excitement, I'm excited as well. So
I think what's really cool about it is that when they were trying to find a new director for episode 9, everyone was like, well, it's probably going to be Rian Johnson because they seem very happy with The Last Jedi. But then it was J.J. Abrams, and we're all like, ooh, maybe he just is burnt out. Maybe he doesn't want to do it. Maybe they didn't like the direction Rian Johnson took The Last Jedi into. And then they're like, no, he's doing 3 more Star Wars.
Yeah, him and Kathleen Kennedy, like, they get along.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, and let's face it, the Star Wars director, the saga that they're going through with the creators of this movie, or these movies, it's been a bumpy road so far.
Yeah.
Like, J.J. Abrams obviously didn't have any issues, but...
Phil Lord, Chris Miller.
The Chris Miller stuff.
Colin Trevorrow.
Colin Trevorrow, and then Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One.
Having reshoots and last-minute touch-ups and shit like that, so...
Yeah, there's been a lot of strife, so the fact that they're like stoked on Rian Johnson and that he's going to get to develop his own thing and play in that sandbox, create it from scratch.
Court the saga,
I mean, we could be seeing, like, we can't even begin to anticipate, what this could be. It could be, small stories within that universe. It could be a new Jedi saga that takes place thousands of years in the future or thousands of years in the past.
Porg standalone movie.
It could be a Porg standalone movie.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. I don't really get fucks in this segment, but I would probably give 4 or 5 fucks about this.
Yeah.
I think you get to give a fuck about one of our topics.
I get to care about one thing. I will say this.
You can have a fuck about this one.
Do you want to hold on and wait till you hear the rest?
Well,
I do.
I'm just going to add a piece of information to this. They also announced on the same day that there's going to be a Star Wars live-action television series in 2019, which is something that's been rumored for a very long time. In fact, before Lucas sold Lucasfilm to Disney, there was a live-action Star Wars series in development. We don't know what this is going to be. The only thing we know, it's going to be featured on the new Disney streaming service, which when you say that, you kind of go, ugh, that sounds stupid. But then you think...
Until you realize everything is owned by Disney.
All of Disney, all of Marvel, ABC, like it's going to be a lot of content. So
you're doing good. They're doing good.
But yeah, I'm completely thrilled that Rian Johnson is doing that. Now, here's another question I want to pose to you guys. It seems like they're going to still be doing these spin-off movies, and it seems like the main saga movies could continue with an episode 10, 11, 12. Are we going to get into the Marvel release schedule where we see 2, maybe 3 Star Wars movies a year? And will that be too much?
I think it's possible for that to happen, but I feel like people are trying to take a little more care. And I'm not trying to insinuate that like the Marvel movies aren't trying to, put a lot of time and effort into those movies, but it just seems like with Star Wars, it's like there's a little extra care behind it because I don't know. I just think it's the most cared for. It's probably the most popular of just literally anything. And
it's the biggest media movie franchise in existence.
It just is
that we will ever see in our lifetime.
I don't feel like we're gonna end up getting like 3 a year like Marvel does. I wouldn't doubt if it moved up to 2. You know, like maybe we were getting 1 at the beginning of the year, 1 towards the end of the year, kind of thing, or something like that. But
guys,
yeah,
I really want 2 Star Wars movies a year.
Yeah,
I love Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We should do something
saga-centric and then like a standalone.
We need
story.
to put our heads together and figure out if we can do like a Star Wars, like just something have some related.
Just something cool Star Wars.
I was watching A New Hope today, and I was like,
yeah,
why like it?
Well, that's interesting.
I'm into this.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, moving on.
I was like, hey,
guys,
not such a bad idea.
You ready for the next topic?
Yeah.
Let's do another one.
Cool.
On January 9th, 2018, we will see a DVD Blu-ray release of the hit movie It, starring Bill Skarsgård.
It's a hit!
And a bunch of other children. They announced the Blu-ray release. It seems like the digital release was pushed back a month. It's not coming till December now. And it will be on Blu-ray January 9th. It does not include the director's cut that has been talked about, but it does include 11 deleted or extended scenes. Abigail Gardner, how many fucks do you give?
I'm giving 3 fucks to this. I want to say 4, but I'm going to scale back to 3 because I feel like, you know, who knows what's coming next. So I'm just going to be a little stingy. I give those 3 fucks mostly because I've read about this, the Pennywise Lives bit that's going to be on there. It's like the Bill Skarsgård behind the scenes stuff. I'm like, yes, I cannot get enough of Bill Skarsgård, and I want to watch him like transform into Pennywise. And there's also like a whole thing with Stephen King talking about
The Dark Tower.
Yes, which is what the people want. No, but like talking about the development of Pennywise and like, you know, all that kind of shit, which is going to be a segment that I want to watch. And also the deleted scenes are amazing. And I really enjoyed this movie, and I loved the book, and there's so many reasons why I want to go out that morning and make sure I get a copy in hand. So I'm very excited. There's 3 fucks being given. So
Jay.
Yes.
How many fucks do you give about the It Blu-ray?
You know what? I 100% agree with Abby. I also gave it 3. Same reasons, but like, you know,
Fist
Stephen
bump.
King. Yeah.
Feel good.
Stephen King is, you know, like we're obviously very deep in Stephen King, and he takes most of my time from me, and I really, you know, we followed it for a long time, and it was a really great movie. I'm ready to see it again, and kind of like after thinking about it here and there, thinking about things maybe I didn't like about it, things that I really loved about it. It's like I want to watch it again, and I want to see, like, I am going to be honest, like, I'm not putting a whole lot of hope in what these special features end up being, because it's become a very awful trend for movies to be very stingy with their deleted scenes, and just like Blu-rays nowadays don't have a whole lot of good special features on them.
No, man.
And I am bummed that they're not putting the director's cut on there, but that means I guess they're probably going to put another release out at some point.
Probably when the second one comes out.
Yeah.
Well, they have said that they're going to try. I have read that Andy Muschietti wants to put out a version once 2 is done, where it's just all edited together. Is one thing, which would be great. Which
I
would
want
be great,
a collectible box set.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm just excited because, you know, it was something that was pretty close to all of us, and it's out, and we had a good time seeing it, and we just met half of the cast, and it's a great thing, and I'm excited to finally own it. So I gave it 3 fucks.
Abby's laughing because I think she thinks that our audience might think that I drove to Tennessee to get cookie dough with Jamie Ray Taylor.
Yeah.
I did not. I skipped it. I was reading an article today concerning when I was doing my show research about how, like, when DVDs first came out and they would put out special editions of DVDs, it was like film school in a box. Like, you would get like tons of featurettes and behind the scenes documentaries,
tons of stuff, man.
Deleted scenes.
Yeah, so much shit.
Yeah.
There'd be like, you'd get 2 discs, and the second disc would be nothing but like one of the like Jurassic Park Blu-rays. It has so much fucking. It's like hours and hours of behind the scenes, like featurettes, shit from all the special effects. You just get so
to find out about that storm
stuff
that hit while they were filming, and how it brought the cast together.
Exactly. Like,
I fucking love that shit.
it sucks because, like, guys, I was at Best Buy the other day, and they had the Best Buy I normally go to. They moved their DVD Blu-ray section to the back corner of the store, and it was just completely truncated. Like, they barely had anything. Like,
My face is so contorted right now. I'm very upset by that. The whole point of going to Best Buy is to recreate your Blockbuster experiences that you can't reclaim.
Yeah.
You just want to, like, peruse and think about
Yeah,
what it would be like to rent
digital.
things.
I mean, people still do buy, DVDs and things, but like it's slowly disappearing, and that's why they're not putting as much content on the Blu-ray releases and the DVD. Because like I had the Armageddon DVD Criterion release, and it was like it's fucking Armageddon. It had like 3 commentaries.
Yeah.
Like,
you need it.
If I will say this to our listening audience, if you ever get the chance, watch the Armageddon commentary that has Ben Affleck on it, because he makes fun of the movie the entire time, and it's very, very funny.
I want to watch that.
Yeah. Like, he does a whole thing about, like, when they're like, we need the world's best deep core driller, and he's like, who's keeping that data? Like, who has a list of the best deep core drillers, and, like, how do they just access it? Like, how does NASA know what that list is within, like, minutes? So, yeah, it sucks, man. I mean, like, I think collectible DVDs are a strong market, steelbooks, that kind of thing. But for the most part, it's kind of fading away.
They're a dying breed.
It's slim pickings, and I also like. I'm sure those little like those little like featurettes that are on it. They're probably like 5 minutes.
The Stephen King thing's 4 minutes long.
Guys, and I know I've already heard it and read it, and it's whatever. But
I want to see one time Stephen
Still
King be
can buy
like,
it.
I don't like that thing. He likes everything. Stephen King,
pretty positive. Yeah.
He tweeted about Stranger Things season 2, and it was like, if you just read his tweet and hadn't watched it yet, you'd be like, oh, this must just be
glowing,
the greatest thing of all time.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Yeah.
But anyway, so we'll all be looking forward to that It Blu-ray release. We'll do a little DVD review, and one of these days we're going to record a commentary for something. Maybe it'll be it. Maybe it'll more than likely be Ghost Heads, actually.
Oh, y'all, just wait.
We'll get some special guests on for that one, and we'll.
Does anybody want us to have some to do an unfiltered commentary of Ghost Heads?
We cannot do that.
I don't think it's in our best interest.
That would be an awful thing for us to do.
That would be bad, yeah.
Well, we'll just do it for ourselves then. We'll get Zach Myers on the mission.
Yep.
Hi, Zach, if you're listening. He listens.
Yeah, he's probably already made one, so you can just get him to send it to us.
He's a big.
Zach's a big fan.
Zach's a big fan. Oh.
All right,
All
enough
right.
inside baseball.
Here we go. It's not that inside.
It's not. It's out.
You guys ready?
It's Netflix.
We got 2 more to go.
Yeah, let's do it.
The 20th anniversary of one of the highest grossing films of all time is upon us.
Yep.
And on December 1st, in your local
so excited
theater,
about this one.
Oh.
you will be able to view the movie Titanic. Jacob Walsh, how many fucks do you give about the 20th anniversary of Titanic?
You guys want to take a guess?
Should we all together now?
Yeah.
All right, on the count of 3.
0
Oh,
fucks.
you guys beat me to it.
Oh, I knew it. We were both snickering in the back of the class. We're like, Titanic.
I feel like it was a light news week. I mean, I'm trying here.
I mean,
That's fine.
if you asked 13-year-old or 12-year-old Abby, I think I was 12 when this movie came out, I would say, like, all of my fucks. I would give everything, because I did.
All in. Just
all
like
in.
Justice
10
League,
bucks.
All in.
Expand on why you don't care about Titanic.
It's whatever. It's fine, but I just don't care. I don't. It's not a movie that I'd care to watch again ever. I just don't care.
All right, you just don't care.
Just don't care.
You've seen it though.
We all know what happens.
I've seen it a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's an alternate ending. Maybe
if there is an
There's
alternate
director's
ending,
cut.
I'll go.
What would the alternate ending?
If they
Titanic
put
floats
in,
too?
If maybe they like cut in more Bill Paxton, I'll go.
Yes, and that cable sweater. I want that, yeah. The whole opening's cool.
How could she possibly
When they
know
flash
about
back.
the diamond? Wait, what's it? The heart of the sea?
All sorts of neat stuff like that.
We've been looking
I don't
for
know,
the
man.
heart of the sea for 20 years.
Just don't. Yeah, whatever.
I care about him.
Let's see what
All right.
Abby. Let's see what
Abby?
Abby gave.
How many?
I gave it 0 fucks. I just wrote don't care. I don't care.
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't even write the don't care.
Yeah, exactly. I remember seeing it in the theater and it being a big deal. I remember my dad covering my eyes during the sketch scene, but like peeking. Because it's like, you have to see it.
What does he not want you to see? A woman's breasts?
I know, I know. Very aware. But yeah, it's not going to go back and watch that movie. But Craig, I know that you do whenever it's on television, so... How many hypothetical fucks do you give?
The sketchbook contained nude breasts of the old lady wearing the Hope Diamond. That's my Bill Paxton. I feel like it's pretty good. I don't know.
It is okay.
All sorts of neat stuff like that. Did you already do that one?
Mm-hmm. I
Anyways,
did that one.
Do
you want 5 Titanic spinoffs?
I do. I want one which is just Bill Paxton in that little tiny submarine for like 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
I want an alternate ending where they don't hit the iceberg and they just arrive in New York and everyone just enjoys their new life.
Yeah.
Okay. I want an alternate ending where it sinks, becomes a ghost ship Titanic, and we see its journey into Ghostbusters 2.
Yes. Yes! That's the series.
Cameo by Cheech and the other guy.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. I love that part. That's so... GB2 was on the other night. That part is so funny.
So good.
Such a good movie.
He says the Titanic just arrived. I like Titanic. I think it's an amazing movie, and I think it holds up. And I don't know, anytime you're seeing like divisions of class, and you got all the poor people on the bottom deck, and you have the rich, snooty people, and you've got old Billy Zane kind of just being an asshole to everybody.
God, he's
I
such
like
a
it.
dick, yeah.
I like Titanic.
Does he have a pencil mustache in that movie?
He needs one.
Or
we could digitally remove it.
Or add it.
Listen, I don't know. I like James Cameron. I think I like Titanic. I'm gonna go see it because I never got to see Titanic on the big screen because, fun fact that nobody will care about. Locally, when I was growing up, we had 2 theaters. There was the Cinema 8 and the Cinema 6, and then they built the AMC 24, which was like the mega theater we still go to. Mm-hmm. And there was some weird contractual issue. They only showed Titanic at the shitty Cinema 8. They never showed it on the big screen. So I'm going to buy my popcorn, I'm going to buy my Leonardo DiCaprio t-shirt, I'm going to go watch Titanic.
Big screen.
And I'm going to give a major fuck.
Got it. Billy Zane's got like a 5 o'clock shadow.
Got to.
Like, why are they... Oh, what? Do they need Titanic to make some more money? Is that why?
Yeah.
They need to fund Avatar 2 through 9?
Yeah, I guess.
Going back to the well.
Cool. All right, guys, we're almost done. We're on to our last subject. Thank you guys so much for the participation. And also, by the way, if anybody ever wants to suggest topics for the fuck budget, get on Yes Have Some Group Therapy.
Give a fuck.
And give a fuck.
Contribute, yeah.
All right. Come. Hey, pick up your...
We're trying, so.
Pick it up. This is called bookending. We started this episode talking about Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And right now, I'm going to ask you, Abigail Gardner, when it comes to the long-rumored, much-talked-about Bill and Ted 3 that has been talked about by Keanu Reeves most recently, just a couple weeks ago, how much do you give a fuck about a third Bill and Ted movie?
How many fucks I'm going to give? I'm allotting 3 fucks to this because I just watched the movies. We just obviously talked about that at the top of the show. And I really liked them. Which it also bummed me out because the Bill and Ted show, like, thinking about that in retrospect made me really sad because I was like, it could have been so much better.
The one in Orlando?
Yeah, the one we saw in Orlando.
Gotcha.
But this movie, Bill and Ted 3, I think that it could be great. And I really still like Keanu Reeves, and watching him in these movies the last couple nights, like, my little crush was reignited, and I want to see him on screen again. And his comments about this movie, like the plot of them having to, like, make a song.
Before I go to Jake, why don't I read the recent comments? So Bill and Ted 3, they've been working on it for a long time. Bill and Ted have been working on it. No, Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, they want to do it. They've got a script. They have a director. They're trying to get financing. It sounds like the kind of thing, if and when it happens, maybe it'll be on Netflix, right? I don't know if it's going to be in theaters. So, this was the comments. Keanu Reeves says, quote, "It's a cautionary tale. They're supposed to save the world, but when we see them, they haven't saved the world. And they're married and have kids. They're playing to nobody. But they have to write the song and face the music. Hopefully we'll make it before we're 60. So the title that was released was Bill and Ted Face the Music. His second quote was, "The future comes back and says if you don't write the song by this certain time, then the universe is going to unravel and history and everything is going to change and dinosaurs are going to walk the earth. Jesus is playing baseball.
Those 3 words, Jesus playing baseball, that's why I'm sold. That's why I give 3 fucks.
All sorts of weird things start unraveling and wormholes are twisting. We have to kind of bring order back, and it's connected into bringing our families together by writing a song. It's edgy. A great scene where Bill and Ted are in jail. We're seeing our future us's, and they're all tatted and hard. And then he goes on to describe that scene. So what I'm asking you, Jacob Walsh, given what you just heard, how many fucks do you give about Bill and Ted 3?
You know what? I gave it 2 fucks, which is the amount of fucks that I had left. I've used all 10 fucks. I think that's probably the first time I've done that.
Mm-hmm. Here is some money.
Deacon.
Here are some fucks.
Here are some fucks. This is Napoleon. He's a great French leader.
Napoleon at the water park was my favorite part. I haven't mentioned that.
Okay.
Continue,
Sorry,
Jake. Sorry, Jake.
No, you're good. I like Bill and Ted. I like both movies. It's one of those things that seems like it might never actually happen because they have been talking about it for years. And I know like Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves have been like photographed in the past together. Like years ago, I remember pictures came out of the 2 of them hanging out and they're like, guys, look, they're really like, there's really, some steam behind Bill and Ted 3, and like they've been talking about it forever. So it's like it's one of those things where you're not sure. It's almost like Ghostbusters 3 at this point. You're like, it's never gonna happen. It might, and I'd be down for it, even like for whatever it turns into, whatever kind of movie it is. I would like to see it. I think Keanu Reeves he seems like a pretty nice guy, and his movies aren't always the best, but he's pretty good, and I like him, and I like him in that role. And I gave it whatever fucks I had left because I want to see it. Like, what if they bring Death back? What if Station comes back? Like, it's just like,
yes.
I know they can't really do Rufus, but they'll figure out some kind of thing to throw in there. But it's just
it'll be Rufus will just be Rufus will be there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to spoil Twin Peaks, but there's something that happened in the new season of Twin Peaks where there was a character that was still there, but it was not that character. So maybe Rufus is like, just, I don't know, like a household appliance. They're like, Rufus, you're an AM radio now.
Oh, I got it. Inanimate object. Got it.
That would be amazing. Fine. That would be amazing, and that sounds like something like they don't even have to explain that. Like it would just be that's how it is.
Right.
I think I can't watch Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey and not be like not excited for the thought of a 3rd film in the franchise. I think it'd be cool. I'd be into it.
Yeah, bring death back.
The thing that is always dangerous with doing a sequel this far out from where the original was is that people get older, they change. I mean, if you look at the Dumb and Dumber 2 with Jeff Daniels, Jim Carrey, it's like the characters are just slightly off, so it feels weird. It doesn't feel like they know how to play the characters anymore. But the good news is Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter essentially look the same.
Yeah, so you have
that. They do,
and
if it's like literally the plot is like, I mean, part of the problem is that the characters are old and they haven't fulfilled.
They're like deadbeats,
their destiny yet. So it could make sense. It could be a good way to bring it in.
Like I like the idea of the opening scene being like, Bill, we were supposed to write the most triumphant song and save the universe, but we haven't done it yet.
Just forgot, like they just remembered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, Bill, what time is it? We were supposed to write that song.
Bill, Ted, we were supposed to do that 20 years ago. Well, I thought we did do that.
Right.
I literally thought that's what the credits of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey was. It's them singing the song.
Yeah.
Yes. They fast forward in time, become talented, acquire.
They are going to have to retcon that skills. A little bit because they really do, like, end of that movie, it shows all the, like, headlines, and it's like world peace because of Bill and Ted, shit like that.
Which I want prints of all those headlines framed on my wall because they're very cool.
We're not going to successfully save the universe until we write our song. But we're not going to be able to write our song until we find Rufus.
Well, apparently, like, they're supposed to be married and have kids, like, for this 3rd one. So they're probably going to have, like, the trappings of adulthood, and, like, it's going to be them, like, reclaiming their youth or whatever.
What if, like, one of them now is a cop, like, wasn't Bill's dad a cop,
Yeah.
What if
he's
Wait, I like the idea. Yeah. Dude, they're like 50 years old. if we don't write this song, we're gonna end up having to go to Oates Military Academy
It should still be a threat. Yeah.
in Alaska. Like, that's so funny. I love it. Let's make it happen. That also reminds me, there was I guess Step Brothers 2 is not happening, but the plot is so funny.
Yeah.
The plot I love Step Brothers, Jake. The movie's great. I don't know.
I love it.
The supposed plot for Step Brothers 2 is going to be their parents retire and move into a retirement community, and then Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly think that means that they get to retire too, and they move in with them to the retirement community.
That's fantastic.
Let's make that happen while we're at it. Okay,
Yeah.
folks?
Let's do that one too.
Well, cool. Well, that was a fun fuck budget.
Yeah, I gave all my fucks. Jake, you had a fuck?
Me too. Yeah, I gave them all.
Yeah.
Well, I
All
give
out
a
of
fuck
fucks.
about you guys. Thank you so much for everybody tuning in. And, God, a lot of Bill and Ted talk. I want to see Bill and Ted 3. Like, when I think about movies from my childhood that I want to see another one, like, obviously Ghostbusters, like a true Ghostbusters 3 is always, the dream. Whether or not that ever happens, God, who knows at this point. But Bill and Ted 3, Austin Powers 3, 4, Austin Powers 4?
I think
Does
we're
anybody
getting-
care about that? No one cares about that. Wayne's World 3? That's never going to happen. So,
Yeah.
like, we for a long time it was Pee Wee Herman. And then we got a new Pee Wee Herman, and it was kind of
Yeah.
not so great.
That was also Netflix, correct?
That was a Netflix movie.
So, here's hoping.
So, here's hoping to more Bill and Ted. And,
They need Station to, jump up and, smash into himself.
well, I want to see them go to the planet where all the stations are.
Yeah, that's
what I want.
yes. I would explore that for sure.
And if not, we're at least getting a shit ton of Star Wars movies, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
no doubt, no doubt.
Abigail, any final thoughts before we sign off?
I mean, I'm all out of fucks. Thanks for giving a fuck to all of you out there. So fucked without you.
We do a lot of singing on this show. We should record an album.
I think so.
Oh, we should
Do a
call this
Christmas
episode Bill and Ted Talks.
Yes.
Like TED Talks.
Wow.
Thank you, Jake, for doing my job for me. So now we have a title to write the blurb
Or-
tomorrow.
I'm just going to pitch a little nostalgia mashup movie.
Yeah?
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in Babysitting.
Ooh. I like it. Like it a lot.
All right. Or Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey to the Center of the Earth 3D.
Oh, wait. Holy shit, when I watched that. Bill and
Yeah.
Ted, like, riding dinosaurs and shit.
Bill and Ted and the Rock.
Prehistoric monsters, yeah. I'm into it. Center of the Earth.
Finally.
I want to... You just reminded me. You guys know the trailer for Rampage comes out tomorrow?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Rampage.
Tell me more.
Finally, we get a Rampage movie. I've been hanging out at arcades and skating rinks for years begging. Rampage was an arcade game popular in the 80s, and it's basically like a King Kong, a Godzilla, and like a werewolf terrorizing a city. Something
like
along
you
those
are
lines.
those characters, and you're
Right.
just supposed to go around eating people, basically.
So The Rock will be in the Rampage movie, and hey, maybe it'll be amazing. That'll be awesome.
They teased the poster came out today, and it's got
listen,
like
it's
it's
The
got
Rock,
like the
it's
Rock
death,
standing
it's
there,
destruction.
and
Yeah.
the monkeys behind him.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I want to see Bill and Ted and The Rock in a movie together.
Yeah.
You jabronis think you can go one-on-one with the Great One?
You mean like The Rock as the
No,
Rock?
the actual The Rock.
Yeah.
Tell me,
Okay.
son, what's your name? Well, I'm Ted. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Yeah, I've never seen Whiplash, but I want to see him like getting because like they obviously don't know how to play their instruments, but like getting on them to practice. Like he holds a rock concert and shames them.
I want the dude from Whiplash to train them to play their instruments.
Yes.
Yes. That would be
Oh
amazing.
my
What's his name?
God.
Oh,
John
he's
Jonah
fantastic.
Jameson, the guy from
J.K.
Spider-Man.
Simmons. His name's
J.K.
J.K.
Simmons.
J.K.
yeah.
Simmons, who's also playing Lieutenant Dan
Jake,
in
have you
the
seen
new
Whiplash?
Justice League.
Yeah.
Not Lieutenant Dan. I can't think of his name. Gordon. Oh, guys,
Gotta see him.
We've got some mashups.
We got a lot to do.
All right, now let's cover a little bit of ground before we sign off. Will somebody please make a Justice League poster but put Lieutenant Dan in it?
Please.
Because I just want that.
Yeah. It's gonna make it better. It's gonna be better than the movie. So.
we got to sign off at this point. I'm due. If we're at the end of an episode and I'm just doing impressions of The Rock, we probably just need to be.
We should
done.
someone should press stop on the record thing. Yeah.
Whoa, he gave you the people's elbow, dude. Excellent.
Craig's cutting promos.
All right. For Jacob Walsh and Abigail Gardner, my name is Craig Goldberg saying if you can't have a Bill and Ted 3, at least you can get 50 more Star Wars movies. Yeah. Can I get an amen?
Amen,
yeah.
sister.
Right. Say your prayers, take your vitamins, and also check out yeshavesomecast.com where we post all of our episodes.
T-shirts.
Facebook.com/yeshavesomecast. In the official Yes Have Some shirt store, yeshavesomeshop.com. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at YHS Podcast. And please stay tuned. We got a couple fun things that we're going to be talking about in the next couple weeks. We're not going to reveal any of the surprises.
Couple of things in the oven.
Couple of...
Baking.
Yo.
Couple of things.
There you go.
Okay.
Very good.
So stay tuned to the Yes Have
Set
Some...
your timer.
Social media accounts. We'll be making some announcements.
I'm sorry.
You want to you just want to tell them?
Yes. I have a thunder stealer this episode. First of all, I want to say I'm sorry for stealing your thunder to everyone out there, but specifically to you, Craig.
You know what song we're gonna have to use now?
Yeah.
What's that dumb
It's AC/DC?
Yeah.
I don't even like that.
I fucking hate AC/DC.
Is it my fault that we have to close out with AC/DC now? Because I know that it's playing if people are, once this is out. So
it's playing right now.
First of all, I'm sorry. It's on right now. I'm
here,
sorry.
When people are hearing this, it's literally going to be behind me right now.
We're
as I'm
not
saying.
gonna use
Not
them.
the magic.
Because AC/DC is the kind of band that would sue a small podcast for using their music.
Yes.
Probably.
Metallica and Napster.
Because they need whatever money they can get.
Total dick move, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting sued for all of our assets, which means we're giving them 3 cats, $40, and 8 fucks.
Yeah, we're Vince Cortho.
There you go.
They ain't getting my fucks.
Yeah, I'm all out of fucks. Sorry, guys.
All right, guys. We will see you next time. This is
Sorry,
episode
AC/DC.
78 of Yes Have Some Podcast. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I know Jake had a title. It was good. We'll go back. We'll get it.
What was Jake's title?
Jake's title.
Bill and Ted Talks.
Yes, Bill. God damn it. Thank you, Jake.
Bye.